Hello, everybody. I think I know a lot of you. I'm Daniel. I'm the founder of Startup CPG. We really love bringing you guys some of the best education out there, and this is going to be no different. We love working with Glimpse. They've gotten such good feedback from brands in the community who you know, who are in our Slack. Just as a really, because deductions can absolutely ruin your business. Invalid deductions, if you don't fight them, will make it impossible for you to really have positive margin. And it's also really hard to fight them. When I was a brand, just seeing all the different ways that they come in, like random PDFs, and they're all coded differently. And you don't really know if you don't track all your promotions. Like, if is that valid though? Is that, I don't know, but they're paying me very little. And so it's just really important. You need to fight for every penny as a brand, but you also aren't really resourced to do it. And you don't want to get bogged down in spending all of your time or your finance person's time in fighting everything. So we have been really excited about the Glimpse model doing this and love partnering with them on education as well. And they love educating the community. So I'm really happy to have Anthony here today for this epic How to Fight Deductions 101. I feel like I'm the next champ, but we're going to be training with you today. We're going to learn how to fight. So welcome everyone to the Glimpse Gym. Here we go. And we're all going to learn to be fighters today. So thanks everyone for joining. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you want to watch this recording later, it will be on our YouTube. So I'll drop the link for that as well. So Anthony, I'm going to pass over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So, oops. Okay. So a little bit about me. I am Anthony Chang. I am a deduction expert at Glimpse. So a little bit of what I do at Glimpse is I work fighting deductions, disputes, like clients like integration for new tools and stuff like that. So like custom credit memos, stuff like that, or just new tools that brands kind of just want to see on the platform. I'm also I'm also a unofficial snack czar. Um, uh, we do have a good amount of different types of snacks and drinks, so I'll give kudos to myself a little bit on that. Um,
Is that a portable fan that you're holding in that picture?
it's a little hand with a mic. That's what it is.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah,
for that explanation. And you're in that same commercial kitchen that you're in now. Anyone who hasn't seen the new Glimpse office, it's spectacular. They took over the old Marley Spoon office. So he's in this huge commercial kitchen that they have, and then there's a huge office attached to it. Sick.
yeah. If we have a lot of fridge space, so feel free to send samples and we'll try them out, of course.
All right.
And a little bit more about me is I'm actually starting my own company as well. So like people like you guys, just a little bit earlier stage. Um, and I don't understand like what what these charges kind of mean and like how important it is to kind of just keep uh all your money to yourself and kind of good margins too as well to really kind of thrive in the CPG business. So a little bit about my previous background is I worked with Body Armor from 2020 to 2025. I kind of managed the AR direct customer side. So what that means is we have two sides of the whole portfolio. So we have our bottling network where we distribute to the Coca-Cola bottling network, and then they disperse it to all the retailers like that. So kind of like KeHE, UNFI, those types of distributors, but just kind of in the Coca-Cola portfolio. So that's the bottler side. And then we have the direct customer side where we ship directly to the customers like Costco, Walmart, Amazon, the whole big box retailers and stuff like that. So we'll actually get deductions directly from them for that. So the total revenue side was about I would say 20 to 25% of the total revenue of Body Armor. Um, and a little bit about what I actually did in there too is I did fight back and also managed a lot of invalid deductions. So we'll actually get into that a little bit deeper, but something called uh, product shortages. So those are really important. And for me, and for Body Armor, so in 2024, about 7.6 million was deducted in product shortages. And out of that 7.6, we got back $7 million. Um, it wasn't all me, but it was a team effort. So I like to say it as that. So what's on the agenda today? So today we're going to talk about what is a deduction, why we care about deductions, the common types of deductions, and how to fight back. And also, the current platform that I'm working for is how Glimpse can help fight back for you guys and these small to mid-sized brands. And we also incorporate AI to help speed up this process. So first off, what is a deduction? So a deduction is when a retailer or distributor pays a brand, they deduct money for each invoice for various costs. It could be freight, promotions, OIs, post audits, like vendor compliance, like you name it. Whatever you could probably think of or what they can think of is probably going to be a deduction on your remittance. And these types of deductions usually take or shave off about 2 to 3% of your top line revenue. And as we all know, as a small to mid-sized brand, every dollar matters. You got to use your dollars to invest, to do whatever you need to grow your business, not to lose it to these invalid charges. So yeah, we have some brands that that love us, that we that use our platform. Just kind of a low perspective, customer perspective. Sell a PO for $30,000, you end up seeing 17K. All that stuff. It just unclarified information of like why you're only getting paid $17,000 instead of $30,000. So why should you guys care? So trade spend is a second or third biggest expense behind salaries and COGS. And trade spend is also like, a huge investment in the business too, to kind of, grow your business, expand nationally, and all that stuff. So that's pretty important. It also control your destiny with and protect your margins by maintaining trade spend correctly. With big box retailers and broadline distributors, you see 2 to 3% of the top line revenue tied up in invalid charges. Majority of deductions are invalid, but it is important to validate every deduction. It is, I think that point is super important, just because like, one, sure, it can be a valid charge, but there's so much data that goes into it that you just kind of might miss it. And that's kind of the key things of what these distributors and retailers kind of do. It's just very high volume of data and not the most clear type of information as well. So just kind of being on top of that is super important. But obviously, since not everyone has like an army of people that can kind of do that data check, Glimpse like us, we could kind of do that validation and kind of spot check for you guys. So doing this correctly increases your margins and valuation and allows for scaling fastly. So what to expect as a new brand or new SKU? You can expect 50% of invoice deducted on the first 6 to 12 months. And then, so let's say for a more mature brand, like that would sell about 20 to 25% deductions. So that could include sliding, free fills, scans, like other types of promotions, stuff like that. So you're basically agreeing to these types of deductions. So you kind of need to kind of accrue for that stuff. So, and also track every line item charged to catch these invalid fees that don't align with your trade promotions agreements and freight docs. So types of promotion deductions. So one of them is called an MCB. So this is retailers buy a brand product from the distributor at a discounted rate. The retailers then pass along the discounts to the customer during a promotional period. So we have another one called scans, promotions where discount is taken off the register point of sale. So these scans deductions are basically just volume based. So every single time a consumer buys a some sort of beverage, when it gets scanned at 7-Eleven, that gets basically charged back to you at one point, not the full cost, but like whatever the promotion is. So like $1 off, you'll eventually get that charged back to the brand. Another one's called off invoice. So this is a discount taken directly off the invoice that you guys send to the distributor. It could be any percentage really, just depend on how you guys agree with the distributor or retailer. And then lastly is merchandising. So this fee is based on percentage of cost that helps brands with stocking shelves, rotating inventory, setting up displays and price tags, ensuring proper execution of promotions in stores. So how to manage promo deductions. So one thing is to make sure you have these main pieces of information. So who the retailer is, what the product is, what the scan is. If you can have the percentage or the dollar, that would obviously be better. So the more information you have, the better it is to kind of track all this stuff. But yeah, so building relationships with buyers and brokers, this could also help you get discounted advertising or marketing spends. A lot of retailers will compete a contract with all the information as well, which adds another type of layer of validation and promotion details. And we actually, so Glimpse ourselves, we actually have a promo calendar template. So if you guys don't really have one, we could send you guys one. So so we could send you guys one. So just email Matt at Glimpse right there, and we can set you guys up for that. Freight deductions. This is my favorite one. So freight deductions, as you start to scale with distributors, you should expect to see freight related deductions claiming short shipments, late fees, and more. So that is actually one of the biggest bulks of deductions that these retailers and distributors take. I've seen it personally firsthand with Body Armor. Like I said before, they've taken for 2024 alone $7.6 million. And it's honestly a profit center for them. If we can't keep up with it, it's just easy money for them essentially. And these are definitely the most invalid deductions for sure, just because, everyone has a signed documentation that shows what was shipped, what was exchanged, what like arrived at time, all that stuff. And all these retailers just love picking on this.
Anthony, that's a crazy number. Freight deductions make up 90% of dispute wins. That's huge. What is actually happening? Like, why are they even deducting this stuff? I mean, like, let's just, assume for the moment that like they actually don't want to charge you for stuff that doesn't happen. They're not trying to give you invalid deductions, but it does happen. Let's say that. So, like, why is this happening? Do they have different records than you have? Like, what's actually going on here to the point where it
Yeah,
actually gets deducted? And then like, how is it that you have different documentation than they have that you can then
yeah.
prove that it's different?
No, that's a great question. So I think a majority of it is honestly the high volume of products that is received in their warehouses. You got to think about it. It's not just their product. It's not one brand's product that's coming into their warehouses. It's thousands of items that are also going across of different types of warehouses. And people make mistakes. They're going to mismark it and stuff like that. In reality, like, it actually did get shipped there, but they just don't know. And it's really hard to kind of tie back. So they're just going to assume that, right off the bat, they didn't receive it. We're going to charge them back for the difference. That's it. So
So
yeah,
stuff is getting misplaced. It's so hard to imagine that. Like, that's what these guys do for a living. And they need to manage the stuff that's coming in and out, but then they're like misplacing stuff or losing it. And then they just deduct, it gets deducted. And
yeah. On to the next. That's literally what they do. They're just like, there's no really thought into that. It's just like they see it. If it's off, we're just going to deduct onto the next pallet. Essentially, it's just they gotta keep moving.
Yeah. Chris made a comment in the chat here saying a lot of times they'll charge you for trucks that supposedly show up late, even though the whole receiving yard could be behind schedule.
Oh
Maybe,
yeah,
right? Where like, no, it's
those
your fault. Why are you charging for
yeah,
this?
those are the funniest ones because I've seen those before where it's like the carrier was literally at the warehouse just waiting in line, and then they're like, yeah, you guys are 15 minutes late, so we'll actually ding you for that. It's like, dude, we see the timestamp. I know there's carriers there. It's like there's no way that you guys are gonna charge us for that. But in it's in the agreement essentially. It's like a fine wording that says like we cannot be late for this amount of time and stuff like that. But they know how to get around and bend these words a little bit.
And then Chris also mentioned sometimes they'll claim damaged product, but not actually give you any proof. And sometimes they could even damage the product with their forklift, but then bill it back to you.
Right. Yeah. There's so many different types of compliance charges that happen that just like it's kind of crazy how they can charge it even though they don't show proof. Or it's like their fault. They'll still charge it just because they want to. Essentially, they have so much power in a sense.
But if they claim something's damaged but don't have proof, and you're like, well, it wasn't damaged, show me the proof, and they don't have any proof to show you, does that mean you're going to win that deduction fight?
You should definitely win that fight. They might just give you a little like a little hard time about it, but in reality, you should definitely win that.
It's a rough world out there, everybody. Bad, you gotta, yeah, weapon up and fight those deductions. So it's honest, and I know so many people at these distributors who are good people that want to support brands, and I'm like, I've never met a person there who I was like, yeah, that person wants to screw you on deduction. It's not real. I don't think it's really like that. I think it's just
No,
this
yeah,
crazy stuff happens, and the warehouses are busy, and they're like, they're just not like. But hey, if they're not consistent about the proof on stuff that is damaged, that maybe, then you guys put the burden on them. So
100% agree with that. So, actually, a great segue. So, how to win freight deductions. So, the best thing you can do is get all these supporting documents for, like, let's say, product shortages. So, the bill of lading is honestly one of the most key importance, just because it has a signature. It literally shows you that the carrier went to the warehouse and unloaded the product that you guys were shipping. Along with that, if you have additional supporting documents like a PO, packing slip, all these combinations of supporting documents will solidify your winnings for getting that money back for sure. Another quote. Look at
Can I
this.
can I can I just pop in with some more questions that are coming in
Yeah,
now?
absolutely.
So a couple of people are asking about contract. Like, can you? Okay, so Sarah mentioned like she had worked with a brand once that actually had just negotiated like 3% overall deduction or something like that, where it's like then you're not getting a bunch of different stuff. I've seen that show up as like a spoils allowance at least before for just spoiled product. Maybe probably not probably something like that, much lower than 1%, even like maybe 0.5% or even lower. But like,
Yeah.
and then someone else asked the same thing, like, can you just have any of this stuff in the overall contract and not have to like fight everything tooth and nail, which is a pun
Oh
for the
yeah.
other person mentioning nails in the palette.
No, 100%. You could definitely have some sort of an allowance to kind of bypass, let's say, like spoiled product and stuff like that. But there is a caveat with that. There is like a specific cap. I don't know the details for that, but I do. I've seen before where you get, your regular spoil allowance, like a 3% whatever. But let's say like your product, like I guess quote unquote, is always spoiled or whatever. There is a cap and they will charge you for the full amount eventually.
And just to kind of remind people, like most deductions are valid. Like you actually did sign up for most of these things that happen. Like it's your slotting, it's your case fills, it's all of the stuff that you're doing. But there is a percentage that is typically statistically invalid, and it's a big number. And like even if it's on like what's the overall percentage that you guys see typically as being invalid? Is it like 5% or 10% or something?
Yeah, around those lines. Yeah,
That's
it's
a big number. Yeah. So that is a big number of your deductions because deductions are a big part of your overall revenue. So you do have to fight all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, these are clues about which ones may be the
yeah,
most invalid.
yeah, and I want to add to that a little bit more. Like all the supplier agreements that you guys initially get, it's a lot of words, a lot of basically paragraphs of stating like a lot of deductions essentially. It might not be like quote unquote word for word, like this is your spoil allowance, stuff like that, but like, it would be general verbiage of something like that. And I think that's why a lot of brands kind of get confused, like, why did we get all these charges? Some of them are stated in the majority of them actually stated in that supplier agreement. Um, Sometimes they actually are like word for word, but they're not really that nice to you guys. So
Um, and some other people are asking about freight, like, oh, should I just give them freight instead of an FOB so I have more control on the freight? I mean, no matter what, there's still probably some invalid charges that can come through, right?
yeah, like you could control like the freight charges by doing that, by changing that freight method. Um, but like you won't get around for like product shortages and stuff like that. They're still gonna take some sort of deduction like that. You could probably minimize or track it easier for actual freight charges. But for like maybe product shortages, they're still gonna try to ding you for that.
And yeah, Tony mentioned that he found actually that he was offering a freight allowance, but it wasn't being passed along to the customer, which he asked because he had asked them what the booked freight rate was, and they said zero, which means they're not passing it along. So that's another one. A couple people have been asking about the like spoils allowance, what percentage is okay? I don't know. Someone put 2% at KeHE, but I don't 2% to me feels high for spoils. Like I definitely I don't I'm not the expert on this, but I would be looking for something definitely under 1%, maybe a lot under it. That might be a good question for the Slack channel if anyone wants to post it in there about just typical. Um,
Typically, sorry, cut you off. Typically, it's usually I've seen it to go up to 2%. I've definitely seen it for Amazon. They're also a lot harder to kind of fight about what percentage you want, but typically for a spoil allowance is 2%. You could probably go a little bit lower, but it depends on, I guess, how much leverage you have as a brand. Like let's say you're Coca-Cola and you tell Amazon we want a lower damage allowance or a spoil allowance, they're probably going to give it to you because you're that size of a brand. But if you're a small startup brand and stuff like that, you're probably gonna have to take what they give at that point.
this is good. It's like half education, half therapy session for everybody. If you're looking at the comments, everyone's like, "Yeah, that happened to me." Oh my gosh, this one time. Let me just tell you. All right. Okay, so cool. Parch. Yeah.
March, yeah. So another customer perspective. Quince has been fantastic to work with. We work with a lot of brands, and we try to keep with that like happy brand that they're with us. So like they're with us for a reason. We wanna work with them because if they win, we win.
And I'll just I know we'll have the contact info a little bit later, but you guys I think probably still like wondering what Glimpse does, how they work exactly. I just put their like website down in the chat in case you guys want to talk to them, but basically the feedback from the community is there's a very like low retainer that they have every month, and then they're going to get paid based off what they actually go out and recover for you. So they're very motivated to go and fight those all of those deductions. For you, get that money back. And, it like maybe a lot of people might prefer that over having their own resource that they have to pay a full-time salary to go and fight those deductions or whatever, or having to go and do all that themselves or just not doing it. Actually, that's probably the most likely case is just not actually going after that money.
For sure. Oh, perfect. Look at that. What is Glimpse? It's like the slides already.
Right. I got a glimpse of them. Yes.
So what is Glimpse? So Glimpse is an AI automated automation tool and service that helps brands succeed in retail, starting with our end-to-end deductions and disputes recovery service. So what that really entails is deductions are done for you via AI and majority AI and a mix of human experts. We also do custom GL mapping. So what that means is we'll actually take your internal QuickBooks or ERP system, whatever you guys have, your accounting GLs. We'll basically map it over to Glimpse's platform as well. So you guys, instead of looking at two different types of buckets, you guys are a little bit more sync in that sort of sense. So our success-based commission pricing model, we also do free historical deductions audit. If you guys if you guys are interested in that, please click the link and we could set that up for you guys for sure. So a little bit more about what is Glimpse. Deduction classification. So we'll basically pull in all the data from all the portals, whatever customers you guys have. And as everyone knows, there's so many different types of prefixes across, one distributor, and then there's another set of different types of codes and a retailer and all that stuff. Basically, we'll centralize that and code it for you guys via AI. On top of that, also we dispute, follow-up recovery, and follow up and do revenue recovery as well. So another customer perspective, managing and understanding our deductions have become a key focus for improving profitability. So we always strive for the best for the brands that we work with. It always makes us feel good that when they're recovering money from all these invalid deductions, that makes us feel really good and continues to motivate us to really grow your margins and grow that top line revenue for you guys. So who's using Glimpse? We have a great amount of awesome brands. So we have brands like Leisure Hydration, Show, Brahmi, Coagua. We have so many. And they also love sending us product too. So it's always great to kind of just try them too. It's a cool experience of working for a platform that does AI deduction management for brands. And you get to see the whole world of the CPG industry and, who's in it and, what are people doing, what is being innovated and stuff like that. So it's a cool part to have a little bit of both worlds.
This is a cool list. And I know I just talked to Vitaminis at Fancy Food last week, and she said something really nice about you guys. She was like, I just during the initial trial, they found $2,500 and I don't even know what it was for, but like what that deduction was, but they got it back. So that's a nice one to hear. Anthony, can you explain about the fees also? Because a few people are asking how does Glimpse get paid? Do you get percentage or what's the fee, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so we usually do a blended model. So we'll have some sort of platform fee, and then we'll have a commission fee. So the commission fee is only based off what we win back for you guys. So that's not if you guys had previous recoveries, deduction recoveries and stuff like that, we will not take any commission on that. Strictly only Glimpse winning back money. That's it. Another customer result with us. Oh, Emmy actually. Emmy is actually one of our top brands that we recovered for. So as you can see, it says $50,000 in recovery, $60K in accounting costs, a 33x multiplier, only 9 months in the partnership too. So we really kind of, as soon as we get the data and once we onboard the brand, we're hitting the floor hard and we're sprinting.
Brittany was asking, what's your average recovery rate? So I mean, obviously it has to do with what percent are invalid, but then of what you go after. I don't know if maybe that's what she's asking. Of what you go after, what do you get back?
We definitely go after the shortages. So that was about 90% of all the invalid deductions and stuff like that.
Or what percentage of your challenges are successful though? Once you identify it as invalid or something, probably most of them, I'm guessing, once you identify that it's not valid, I guess It's just, it either is valid or it isn't, right? Like
Yeah,
if it
yeah.
is
If it
invalid, you're going to get it back.
exactly, yeah. If it's invalid, we'll 100% get it back for you guys, without a doubt. Quick refresh. Well done. 25 hours per month cuts uh, from the deduction management workflow, 10% increase in monthly disputes, 99% accuracy and data flow into QBO. So what that data flow in QBO, that's that custom GL mapping that I was talking about before.
Cool. Another question that has just come in that I think will be a nice transition into this slide is Samuel put into the Q&A, I've successfully disputed incorrect charges from Walmart DCs, but the process is really time consuming. They want identification of the specific DC and multiple rounds of emails, and maybe the root cause is with the freight company or Walmart or maybe even us, who knows? So Samuel's interested in understanding how AI could streamline and manage these complexities more efficiently.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the biggest thing about for what we do in our AI tool is it streamlines basically from identifying that like invalid deduction, let's say it's a shortage, and then from there we basically compile the backup automatically. We pull it from the portal, and then all we just need is basically these supporting documents from you guys. Either if we get like a login for you guys for whatever logistic website you guys have, or you guys just forward it to us. From there we'll take it and we know how to dispute it from there. But yeah, so some parting thoughts. So adopt the mindset of where we can automate to provide efficiencies, especially in areas of manual repetitive tasks. There are two trains of thoughts here. So service like Glimpse that can provide a specific solution to a specific workflow and pain points. General AI tools that enhance team productivity through departmental training and collaboration. But yeah.
Okay. Wait, sorry, some other questions I'm just reading through here that I think would be good to raise. So Elena was asking, what's the size of companies that you work with? I think that's a really good one. Like, probably doesn't make sense if you have no revenue to have deductions. So maybe a zero revenue company is not ready. But well, yeah,
Yeah.
when is like at what size and revenue and deductions amount, if people are working with, the big distributors, do you think makes sense for them to start working with you?
So like we do have a various sizes of brands. Like it's literally small size brands to mid size. I guess for a brand to decide if they want to use us, it all depends on, I guess, how much time is it taking a brand to basically look at all these chargebacks from distributor or retailer, and like, do you have time to even look at that essentially? And if you were to use Glimpse, how much time would that kind of save you guys essentially? And also, like, how much do you think is invalid? So there's a lot of questions in that. But if anything, if you guys want to use our free audit, we could just do that and kind of give you a better gauge to see if it's worth it for you guys or not.
Okay. And then people are asking a little bit more about like specifically what is the monthly fee and what is the percentage of the recovered deductions that you take. Do you have any more info you can give on that?
I actually don't know that off the top of my head, but if you guys get in contact with our sales department, they will definitely give you a more comprehensive breakdown. So I do
I don't,
apologize for
yeah, I
that.
don't, in my head, it was, I don't know, it was something like maybe it was $500 a month, like a really low platform fee or something. And then like, I don't know,
Yeah, yeah.
a
It's
third of recovered deductions or something. It probably has changed. That's like probably old
definitely
info,
less
but
than definitely less than 10,000 a month. Like it's not like nothing like that. It's
yeah,
definitely,
reasonable.
nothing too crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, but I see some of the brands who are marked who are using Glimpse already. Some might be 500K, some might be 2.5 million. So like, there'll be a good range on there. But yeah, I definitely recommend chatting with their team, even just to get to know them, because then maybe you'll grow to the point where you'll want them, even if you don't necessarily need it yet. Somebody else asked, do I understand you correctly, Anthony, that Glimpse connects directly with Walmart's platform?
Yes. So we are actually currently in the works of getting that API integration to the Walmart portal. So right now what we have is KeHE, um, KeHE, UNFI, Amazon, Target. Um, that's all the retailers and distributors we have on board. We will obviously get more retailers as we move along throughout the year. Actually, and Walmart is on our list actually right now, so we should have it up and running relatively within a month or so.
Okay. If anyone else has any other questions, please drop them. I just saw one more that was just asking if you work in Canada at all.
That's I'm actually not 100% sure.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, definitely, yeah, guys, reach out to the Glimpse team. So I put the link in here in the chat. So tryglimpse.com if you want to chat with them. I think we're through all the slides, right? Or is there maybe one more?
Just some more parting thoughts, but yeah.
Okay. Cool. So Stephanie was asking again where to get the promotional calendar template from. So I think I remember
Oh
back on the
yes,
slide, it was just to email Matt Holden, I think.
right here.
Um,
Yep.
I'll drop his email here in the chat. There you have it. Feel free to email him. He's a good guy. Have you worked with alcohol brands is the last question that came in.
We work with a non-alcoholic, so Barrow. It is a beer, but it's a non-alcoholic beer.
It may be because of just like those alcohol brands are not typically working, I think, as much with like, UNFI, KeHE, those type distributors.
Yeah,
So
the law is a little bit different for UNFI and KeHE. If I'm not mistaken, they can't ship alcohol.
yeah, I don't know. One more that came in. How do you go about PRC pricing deductions? I don't know what that is, but
So PRC pricing deductions. That's gonna have to you're gonna have to, I guess, validate with the buyer of how initially it was set up, and also double check your case costs on the invoice as well. So depending on where the price difference is, like if they wanted it off the invoice, that's kind of how you fix the pricing deductions.
cool. All right, I think we covered all the questions. Um, getting a couple, yeah, cool, a couple out there. So, and then the last thing that I would like to do is just highlight for you guys. So this is actually part of a series that we're doing. So let me just quickly um, drop the links for the subsequent ones. So we've got two more in this series. So I'm just looking for, yep, here's the link. So I'm going to drop the second one that we're doing is a webinar with the Glimpse team that's on national launch. I think it'll be really cool because it's with the Leisure brand who works with them also. And it's really like the national launch that they just did with Whole Foods and talking about like what did they actually have to do to prepare for that from an inventory perspective, a planning perspective, to just like really actually execute it. So for anyone who's like warming up or thinking about that stuff in the future, so I'm posting that now in the chat in case you want to register for it. That's the first one that I just posted. And then the third webinar that we're doing with them is going to be advanced deduction strategies. So for those of you ready to really go to war for those advanced deductions and make sure you're extracting back everything or not letting someone extract something, that'll be advanced deduction strategies in November. So I just posted the link for that one as well. So make sure I would register for them because if you register, then you get the slides. That's sort of the secret here is if you register, you get sent the slides. Even if you can't make it, you can still always get the recording on our YouTube, but you only get the slides if you register. So make sure that you register, and I'll just post one more time. Just make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube so you can see when the recording goes live. And I just posted that link also. So, Anthony, my friend, thank you. Really appreciate all of the insights around how to make sure you keep as much money that you get paid as you can. And thank you, everyone, for the great engagement and all of the questions. And I will see you all in the Slack.